This conference will now be recorded.
Perfect. So what can I help you with today?
Yeah, so we need to do a couple things on Mosaic for me.
Okay.
First thing is, have you heard about C-channel cabinets?
Like Gola cabinets?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's those
Yeah.
cabinets that has this notch for C-channel.
it's the same goal.
Yeah, LIC channels, yeah.
Yeah, I need to set this up because I can't.
Yeah, so
I'm
there's a
doing
custom library for that that's available on the forum. So I'll just make sure you don't have it already. Yeah, no, so you don't have it. So I'm going to go to the forum. I'm going to go to help. I'm just going to check one more thing, help about, I just want to see your version. I think it was
Yeah.
5.1, yeah, 10.1. You're good. So let's go to help.
Yeah.
Mosaic forum. And we're going to go to software updates. We're going to go to version 10.1. We're going to scroll to the very bottom, and we're not going to download the update. We're going to download the optional library installer. This is where you can pick kind of customized product libraries to download. So we're going to download the Gola one. Now, you might be using Gola is the most popular profile for, handleless kind of style kitchens. You may be using Hayflow one. You can just tweak the numbers a little bit, but Gola is probably, 80% of the market is going to be Gola. That's why we'll pretty well refer to it as Gola.
I thought you guys had something, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, and it's good that you get a training actually for this library. Because there's certain things that you'll want to know that you may not have necessarily, it's kind of a special library. So are you getting a pop-up right now?
Yeah.
So just click
Yes.
yes. Yeah. So click next. And pause here.
And sorry, Gola?
So, yeah, Gola, exactly, yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's all you need. Yeah, so click next.
Next, again?
Yeah. And finish. Perfect, now I should be able to take over. So let's go to our product libraries here, libraries for products. I'm going to show you a new product library. It's called Gola. Oh, no, you must have file sharing turned on. So if you go to File Preferences, your files are not actually located at the default location, which is no problem. Oops, and I clicked on the wrong button. File.
It's on. It's going to a Dropbox.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So, so we have our product libraries is actually in this folder. So I'm going to need to go and cancel. Cancel. And I'm going to go into your folders.
Sure.
Would you ever do you have two monitors? Is that on another monitor?
Yeah, but you are. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go.
So I want to just go here. Whoops. There we go. To our Dropbox. That should be opening here sometime. Nope. Why is that not working? 1 second. Sorry, it's just slow on my end. So I want to go to your Dropbox, your Mosaic shared files, your product libraries. Perfect. So this is where it needs to go. So it was installed in your C drive Mosaic folder, product libraries. So I want to take it from here, cut it, go back a couple folders to the right spot, and paste it here. And we'll open Mosaic up, and now it'll notice that new library. So we're going to go to libraries and then products.
Yeah. And then all the settings that I have for LGA, it will be on that as well.
No, this is a special library. You cannot use existing parameters for it. You'll have to set them up again. So,
Okay.
yeah, and a lot of the parameters you'll find you'll want to be different anyway. So no, it's a separate product library, completely separate from the other one. For example, when we look at this, the ends may go to the floor, yours may not. We'll have to go through. That's not, I'm not worried about that yet. So if you look, you'll see I get an L channel at the top.
Yeah.
If you use Hayflow, it's called a J channel. And then in between drawers, you'll have a C channel.
Yeah.
And
that,
so this
that will change as I change the size of the door and drawer, right?
Nope. Again, you're getting, we'll get to all of that. So this product library is going to shape your ends of your cabinets, and it's going to add that channel. Yeah. And as you said, it does not, but don't panic, it does not change with the face tab. This is a custom library. I made it. I work for Mosaic, but I'm just a user like you. So I have to use, it's not built-in construction method into Mosaic. So when you change something like this, you have to just simply go in here and change that as well. So it's easy to do.
Yeah, it's easy.
So, but you have to do that. So another thing about this library, so if this one has 3 drawers and 2 C channels and an L channel, and I want this one to be 7 and the next one to be 9 and the bottom one is just whatever is left over. Possibly you'd go to parameters and you go 7, 9, and then they'll move with it. If you put the wrong number in, it will not work. So again, I'm going to undo just to.
What's the size of those channels?
Yep. So you can go to your parameters. They're set up for Gola, so they're 73 millimeters tall. So if you go to the other category and you go to metric, you'll see there's the C channel 73 and the L channel is 57. Are you using Gola or are you using a different brand?
Not sure yet.
If you use Gola, it's all set up for it. If you use a different brand, you'll have to go and change all of these.
Yeah.
So a few other things to note. If you have a cabinet and it has, let's just say it has, a drawer and 2 doors below it, and you want to add, you want to make this different. You want to say, well, actually, I just want 2 doors, and you clear it, and you put a pair of doors here. You have to use a cabinet that already has the correct amount of channels in it. Or profiles, whatever you want to call it. So if I needed to make, say, a 1 drawer bank, I would need to pull in, say, a cabinet that has no C channels, which would be like a 1 door or a 2 door cabinet. Those are the only ones that have no C channels.
Okay.
So these here, just because of the way it's set up, is you need to already have the right amount of channels before you start a job. And we do give you up to 3 C channels and 1 L channel, so it shouldn't be hard. Now, finally, you cannot go in here and just load your construction method. If you do, you will lose everything that makes this library special and unique.
Okay.
Saying that, let me just quickly look at your library that you use now. Yeah, for example, like your ends don't go to the floor. And I'm just gonna have a quick look at your construction method. And do a high detail exploded view. So I can kind of get the big picture really quickly. Yeah, so you're doing some joint fasteners. Not sure whether they're dowels or conformat screws or what they are, but you're doing joint fasteners. You have butt joints.
Yeah.
Your back datas into the bottom and the two ends.
Yeah.
And the top. You have stretchers there also. Yeah. So just looking at that real quick, your new library is not going to do that. And again, I can't load it. So what I need to do is kind of note all of these kind of variables that you use, especially this one, FH, I guess, 0.7. So I'm going to have to add that one manually. And we're going to go to fasteners. We want to use base dowels A, B, conformat, bottom. Yeah, so so you'll have to go to your Gola library and just probably the biggest one that makes this look not right for you would be for sure your ends going to the floor. So you can go to the ends category. Let's say base cabinet ends to floor, no. You can go to the fasteners category. You have a few to turn on here. I think that's what you had. This one here, you have mark in Q10 and back. If you go to the dados category, no dados except for your back into the ends, probably a 1/4 inch, I'd guess.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I guess I can't load them, so I have to go kind of each category. And here for sure, you'll have to add that FH parameter. It looks like you have yours set to 19 millimeters.
19, yeah.
Yeah, it's not 3/4 here. But yeah, so as you can see, I can go through them all for you, but you'll kind of see we're slowly getting there. But you will have to go through and basically match every parameter.
Oh,
Unfortunately, you can't load it. If you load it, you'll lose everything that's kind of special about this library. Then what I do when I do this is I just take a screenshot. You can actually print them out if you have your printer nearby.
oh yeah, I can do that.
But yeah, basically you have to match them. Now keep in mind, some of them will be different. For example, your top reveal on a base cabinet, it's going to be pretty big because you have to get your fingers in there. So you don't want to perfectly match that one.
Oh, no.
And you don't really want to perfectly match that one. And these channels, you're not able to have a front stretcher or front, stretcher at the top. So here you'll see your front stretcher is 0 because you have a metal profile there.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is kind of, that's your stretcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can go and design a job, file new. So I'll do a really simple example first. Oh, not that one, maybe. This here is a really popular one. Oh, this one, sorry. Okay. So let's say that the customer wants a bigger bottom drawer, hypothetically. So we could double click on our cabinet and we'll simply go to the face tab, type in whatever we want here, say 12 inches, and they get a bigger drawer on the bottom. Now in this one, you may want to match that. So this one here is a little bit different because I have 3 drawers. This is a really popular one with this style of cabinetry, whether this is going to be one you use or not. But I have a C channel here, which will open this drawer, and then of course my L channel at the top, which does the top one only. So here, in this case, we kind of have, you know, let's say that this one's 5 7/8 or 5 15/16. And this one here is 5 15/16. Yeah, 12 inches, you know, and why it's a 16th less is because you'd have an 1/8 of an inch gap in between there. So let's click OK. So now you can see they line up, but you have to always be going to the parameters tab and making sure these match. So in this case, it's 12. It's pretty easy, straightforward. That top drawer is 12. That's it. You just match that number here, and it's going to put the C channel right in the center.
Yeah.
Now this one is a little bit different because I kind of have 2 drawers here. So you actually just add them up. And this one in the settings tab to the actual channel will actually put in 12. Because in this case, this kind of is going to act as, say, 1 drawer. It'll be 2 drawers, but kind of in our math, it'll be 1 drawer.
Yeah.
And again, if I wanted to make, let's say, a bench seat or something, and they wanted a drawer below it, unfortunately, when I drag it in, the amount of channels these products have is set. So if I go in here and I make, you know, an 18-inch high product, and I say, I just want like a drawer only, and I'm gonna, you know, it'll be a bench or something. Oops, then I'm gonna go to the face tab and put a drawer in. So you'll see, you know, I have a channel I don't need. Well, there's really no feasible way to get rid of that. Again, this library is custom. It's kind of a little different than other ones, a little less flexible. But if you pull in a product, you can easily get by. Just pull in a product with the right amount already. You know, make it say 36 by say 18 high. And now I can go to the face tab, hit clear, and add my drawer, and I'll have the right amount of profiles already. That makes sense somewhat?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so other than that, you just have to go through a few more parameters.
Okay, no problem. It's better than draw by hand.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm struggling, because when I
And
do
there's
it,
one more thing I need to note. Mosaic does not know, when you pull this cabinet in, Mosaic's figuring out all of the parts automatically, okay?
Yeah.
And it knows what's there. This product, it kind of starts off the same way this one does, but this one has a whole bunch of parameters that kind of tell it how to be different. So for example, it's going to say every unfinished end, if I have 1 C channel and 1 L channel, shape the end like this. If I have 2 C channels and 1 L channel, shape the end like this. And add a metal rail, you know, at a specific location. It doesn't really know those parts exist. Where you have to be very careful of that, let's just go to the 2 drawer bank, is with drawer guides. So do you normally use like a wooden drawer box type of thing?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's very easy if you use a wooden drawer box. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Trying to drag this over. So if you need to make sure that your guide clears your hinge, your channel.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the face tab and hit clear for a moment and just replicate this, because when I clear it and put a drawer back in, it will get rid of any adjustment. Okay, so while see that it's interfering.
Mhm.
So it's actually referenced, because it doesn't know that metal rail is there and that notch is there, because again, I added that. Like, I'm a trainer, of course, but I make these files as well. I added those parts. The software didn't. So what you need to do is kind of measure how much room is my profile taking up. And it's about 7/8 of an inch, okay? And to be safe, you might want to move it up 1 inch, you know? So you can go here and click adjust. And you need to move the bottom clearance up about 1 inch. And normally, just to be safe, you take 1 inch off the height as well. Because if I move the drawer up, I don't ever want it to come near the top and hit. So now you can see that the drawer is not going to collide there. So you need to also be aware of that. And that's all there is to know about this library. So should, other than that, work pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. So we have that set up. I just have to go to the libraries and then all my parameters and put the numbers in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that covers for that C-channel cabinets.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is the floating shelves. I
Okay.
have on my library, I have let me show you. Miter fold shelf.
Yeah.
I got the bit for the CNC. It called 90 degree or 45 degree. And then I tried to do a piece, but it went in once. It really forced the machine to cut those V channels, right? The miter fold.
Yeah.
So I want to know how can I set up a way that that tool goes like in 2 or
Yeah, sure. So just go to the optimizer, go to view optimizer, and go to your 90-degree V-bit and set a couple paths, like a path step.
Okay.
So go to library, CNC tooling. Go to your 90-degree V-bit.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And put in a path step. So if you want to cut 3/4 material in 3 passes, go a quarter.
Quarter inch.
Here, 0.26, just so it doesn't do 4 if your material is a little too thick.
And what about the speed? Can we make it go slower?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, your feed rate right there.
Oh, the feed rate. Okay.
Probably enter a little smaller too.
All right. And that, so this way, it's going to do it like in 3 passes. It's going to take a little bit and then a quarter inch each pass, correct?
Yeah, so it's going to go almost half the speed it was earlier.
Okay.
And it's going to do it in 3 passes if your
Okay.
material is 3/4 thick.
That's fantastic. Now, when you do that, sometimes I have a client that likes to do the fillers on MDF. He likes to do a miter filler.
Yeah, so you want to go to that libraries that I just showed you how you can install them.
Yeah.
Close Mosaic. And there's a miter fold library there as well.
Okay, that's cool.
So click yes here.
Click what? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And then click miter folds, bottom.
Miter. This guy here. Next. Next. But that went to Mosaic. Have to go to the share folder, right?
Correct.
It did install.
I can do it. I can do it if you want. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just when you install something, I can't use your mouse while it's installing, so I can now. So, so this is another custom library, as you may know, and it's kind of it's a lot simpler, obviously, than the miter full one because the parts are relatively simple. But this is another product library that kind of works a little bit differently, and I could show you some things about it. So first of all, these custom libraries there's something to learn about them. If you go into the folder, you'll find a PDF and it'll contain some instructions. So just, it's not like a book or anything, but enough to kind of get you going. So if you read here, some very important information. These products use the panelized end material type.
Yeah.
So it's the same as a door, but it's not, but it's in the same material template as your door. And there's 4 general shapes of them. There's an L, a J, a U, and a C. And of course, there'd be left and rights of them if they need the left and right. Another thing is there's
a skin there, right?
If you want it to be, so you can add it or you could set it to 0 to cut through.
And on library, okay.
You see, it's set to 0, yeah. And that's really it, just make sure your tool is obviously wide enough. So
and it's normal to get it going in three passes or 2 passes, or
it depends on your tool and your machine.
Sorry?
It would depend on the tool that you're using and your machine.
Okay.
You might do it in 2. Some people might do it in 1. If it's a beefy tool and a really powerful machine, they might have no problem.
It's a beefy tool, but I don't like to do it. It forces a lot, the spindle.
Yeah,
so
yes.
I'd rather do it 3 times and not having
that'd be like your judgment. Who would be the ones to tell you. So go to libraries products. So, and also one note, there's also a pretty detailed PDF. Again, I make all of these. It actually is not there. That's the Gola specs. There should be a PDF somewhere here of Gola cabinets. It's a Word document for some reason. It should be a PDF, but anyway, it may open here. Just give me 1 second. There's also one for Gola, so most of which you might have already learned based on what I showed you. And it looks like it's opening pretty funny there. Can you drag this over to this monitor?
Yeah.
That actually looks better here. Yeah, so if you look, you can see, you're kind of learning about where to change the settings, how to change your splits, make sure those numbers match the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually goes through how the library is made in a little more detail, showing you to make sure you adjust your drawer box bottom. And everything I would show you in a training, actually I didn't show you this. You want to adjust your top back if you do add one. Generally, you won't add one a little bit. And yeah, so this library hopefully will show you a few things.
That will. Yeah, but basically I have done a couple of those, but I have done like by hand, right? So it's
that's a lot of work, yeah. So here you have some like fillers or L-shaped pieces and fillers and what have you. And you can kind of go through and modify these as well. So and you'll find more floating shelves, like a shelf finished on both ends, just the left, just the right, or no ends.
Oh, okay, that's even better than the other one. Awesome. And if it's MDF, raw MDF, How do I tell them to leave the skin?
Yeah, so it'd be in the parameters tab under the other category.
Other. Oh, skin, 0.3.
Mhm.
If I put 0 there, it's not gonna do any skin. If I keep it,
Yeah, don't put 0, put like a very small value. If you put 0, you won't be able to graphically display them properly.
oh, okay,
If you put a very, very tiny value, basically it's gonna go through. Like I put 1/1000th of an inch, so it's
okay,
a third of the thickness of a piece of paper. So, yeah, otherwise it won't graphically show them like this properly.
yeah.
It'll think this is an offcut and it won't show it.
That's very good, very nice. Now, sometimes some clients ask me for melamine, like those Tafisa or whatever melamine floating shelves. How do I make sure that it's not gonna like chip a lot?
I can't. Yeah, it's probably use a sharp tool. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, like most of this is going to be done with like with MDFs and painted
I
and so
know.
on. Be a little more forgiving, but yeah, you might want to go. I don't know. Yeah, go a little further.
Yeah, okay, no problem. That's good. That's very nice. So the next one is my closet organizers.
Okay.
Oh, before we do that, can you show me how to shape like a cabinet and not having the part moving all the time?
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, sure.
So because, like I said, I did a couple ones with the C channel,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I shaped the cabinet, when I was shaping the center of the C channel, then my top one move, the number move, and then I tried to. It's just moving.
First of all, don't do it like that because it's going to be too much work and it's going to be prone to breaking.
Yeah.
So, are you talking about shaping like an actual part or a product?
Yeah, I want to, like, if I want a special shape on an MDF or something, sometimes the client asks me for a funny thing, right? And then I struggle to do it because when you shape it, it moves everywhere.
Okay, so if you pull in a part, I just pulled in a part here called finished panel. It's just a finished piece of panel. So if I go in here and I go to the parts tab and I click edit shape.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add a couple points.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say that this person needs, I don't know an example, but let's just say that they need like a 6" by 6" notch in the top corners.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll notice these notches are not 6" by 6". So they are, much bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of drag these points down and make this 6" by 6". Okay, so I just made a 6" by 6" notch. Now note this part size, it's just a random size right now. I didn't really put any effort. It's 65 by 34.5. Okay, now what if I make this part shorter? So 34.5 is what it is now. Let's say that I make it half of that size and I make it 17.25. So I'm going to go to the length here and I'm going to type in 17.25. I want you to notice that my notch is now 6" by 3". But it's precisely 3". But I made the part precisely half the size.
Yeah.
So it's going to size your, product. Kind of, it stretches and shrinks and it's not really locked to anything, which sometimes can be helpful, but sometimes it isn't. And just for fun, if I make this 25.875, it's 4.5, because 25 and 7/8 is 3/4 of that size. Now, normally you're not going to be stretching things and, kind of nice, half the size that it was. So what if I go like just 12? You'll see that's a really precise 2.807. So let's just hypothetically say that I always want this to be 6 by 6. So I'm going to set this back so I can anchor this. Anchoring basically means when I click on this point, I can anchor it to the top and the bottom, meaning whatever distance it is from the top edge of the part, not necessarily the next point, but the top of the part and the bottom of the part, it'll always stay like that. So here it's always 0 from the bottom, always 6 from the left. So I always kind of think that in my head when I anchor things. Always 0 from the right, always 6 from the bottom. So here, always 0 from the right, always 6 from the top, always 6 from the top, always 6 from the right. And then finally, this one, always. So now if I said, okay, this part is 24 by 24. So no matter what size I make it, it's always going to remain 6 inches by 6 inches. Now, furthermore, I can make parts a little smarter than that too. So anchoring is probably the simplest way to make something parametric. Not that we need to do this, but if we needed to, for example, put a notch right in the middle. So one example comes to mind for where you do this often, and that's with like finger pulls in a slot drawer front. If you ever needed to make like a little notch for a pull, you may want it always centered. So I'm again going to make this one just 6 inches. And again, it's only 6 inches right now. So it's only 6 inches when this part is 42 wide. So if I make this part 65, which I believe it was earlier, that's some random number. So you can't anchor it to the center, unfortunately. I could anchor these to the top, or the bottom, but I actually want this 6 to be the same. So then you could put a formula in. So in the Y value, I could say, I want this point to be the part width over 2 minus 3 inches. Now I have to put TOMM because it's, to metric. And if you have any questions about formulas, hit the blue question mark. There'll be lots and lots of good examples in there and why we use TOM and where to get the variables. But I can put in a simple formula here. And then it would be the exact same formula for the other 2 points, just to the top. And the only 2 points that actually need anchoring, would be actually the 2 ones that are 6 inches from the top. I would want to anchor those to the top. And you'll see here, I actually forgot to change that to be a plus.
Okay, now how can I anchor, for instance, I can like anchor, okay.
You can't anchor to the center, so you can only anchor to corners or edges.
So if I'm working and editing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, how can I anchor that this will stay the size I put it in? For instance, if I want this to be 10 inches and this to be 14 inches, so how can I like this 14 and this 10, for instance, and then how can I make that this doesn't move if I change this number here?
Again, it's based on what I just showed you, anchoring points. So if you always wanted this to be 6 and that to be 12, get rid of this formula. Again, I'm doing an example, so it's not the same as yours. So if I make this 60, that's always in the middle, and so on. If you needed it to be so far off center, you'd have to do it a different way. This formula only can only have one answer. So if I take the formula out, you know, and I move this point, even just moving a point will actually take the formula out. And I needed this to be, you know, if
Yeah.
I needed this to be 14, I would have to add 6 to that and say the Y value here is 20. There's no way around that. I'd have to do that math in my head. And then if I knew that I wanted this one to be 19, I would have to know, okay, you know, this is 33 now. It's going to wiggle that to get rid of the formula. It needs to be 35. And then if I realize, okay, what if this gets bigger? I always need 19 to be the same. Well, then you take this and anchor it to the top left, right, and this to the top right. And then if I always wanted that distance to be 14, I'd anchor that to the bottom. And using those tools are the only tools you have. You should be able to do anything with writing formulas or simply anchoring. Anchoring's faster. Formulas can be more powerful. So now I can't make this much smaller because if I can make it 54, but you'll see based on how I have it set, 9 is the only one that's changing. So if I make it 48, it's getting kind of small there. If I make it 46, it's getting, and now if I make it much smaller than this, I'm going to break it.
Yeah.
So if I go 40, I've kind of broken it. You wouldn't want to try to cut this out because I don't know what it would do. You know, so it's inside out. Obviously, don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Without a specific example, you know, it's hard to say, but based on anchoring, you know, you should be able to do it. Anything, and then of course formulas as well.
Okay. Good. We still have some closet organizers.
Mhm.
The fastener, I need to move the hole for the fasteners down by an inch. And
Okay, can you open a job that you're talking about just so I can see?
okay, on this cable, there is a notch down there at the back for the fastener.
So just for your hanging system?
Yes.
You mean? Yeah. Yeah. So that's just a parameter in the closet category.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I need to move those 2 holes by
Yeah,
an
that's
inch.
actually that's a little further away, but yeah, this is easy. The other one's easy, but it's going to take a little more work. So you have 3/4, you have 3/8, and probably 3. So what do you want to change?
Yeah, I want to change
Which number
this,
do you want to change?
these 2 holes here. I need that
Okay.
1 inch lower.
Okay.
Actually, I need it to go to, let me check here, the numbers he gave me.
You're going to specify this value right here.
Say, sorry?
This is the value that you're going to need to give me.
Yeah, I'm just finding here. Just
Okay. So 1 inch more would be 1 13/16.
Yeah, actually, it has to come down the center at 110 mil from the top. 110 mil.
It's not from the top yet, so it's going to be from the bottom of the top. So it's from here is what I need. So it'd be 110 minus 19 probably.
No, it says center. He show me the center.
They may show you a spec one way, but how you actually set this up in Mosaic is the dimension I'm showing you right now.
Okay.
From the top of your from the bottom of your top, okay? Not necessarily from the notch, but it's from the bottom of your top. Okay?
Yeah.
This number here is not relevant to Mosaic. It may be what your specifications are giving you for the product, but you'll have to take your top thickness off of that. So it'd be 110 from the top, correct?
Yeah.
So then it's going to be 110 minus 19, which is 91. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want that number there to be 91. So to do that, we're going to go to libraries, hardware, fasteners. and we'll have to move the notch separately. They're not necessarily related because that notch could be used for a French cleat. It doesn't necessarily need to be used for a mechanism. So if you go to closet suspension mechanism, change this value here to be 91, and that should do it. I'm assuming this is the one you're using. We'll know in a few seconds. So I'm going to do a cross section of this whole wall so I can see everything together. And I'm actually going to change my units before I do that to metric, just to make my life a little easier when measuring.
Yeah.
So let me zoom in. So again, we always take things one little step at a time. And the first step is making sure, actually it looks like your material is actually like 16.2. So the math I did there, I assumed it was 3/4. For closets, normally I see 3/4, but it could be 5/8.
But you can keep it 3/4, no problem, because sometimes I change the material to 3/4 and 5/8.
Okay, but you'll see here, I put in 91 right there, okay?
Yeah.
This is not actually gonna be 110 because our material is not right.
But that works fine, no problem.
I'm sure it's close enough, yeah. So then you wanna move your entire notch down probably.
Yes.
Now you could make it longer or move it down. So this value here
It's 19.
is 19. We can make that more, we can say maybe start our notch, maybe, in this case, it actually goes from the top, so 75 from the top or 3 inches or something.
We
So
could start it at 1 inch and then make it 3 inches.
Sure.
And then.
Well, if you make it 3 inches, it's gonna have to be longer than that, I think. So go to your closet library. That one, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Closets V8. Yep.
Oh.
No, sorry, I'm blind. Yeah, closets V8. There we go.
Yeah.
So go to your job parameters, and it's in the closets category. You see these 3 numbers? That's the width of your notch length. So it's 3 inches long. It takes a second. Sometimes if you change units for those numbers to change. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. So here, I could say from the top down, I want to start at say 3 inches and make it 4 inches long. That would be closer to your mechanism there probably. Again, they're just numbers, you can change them as you need. So you can see now my notch is, is there. If you wanted it different, if you wanted it near the top more, go, 1.5 or whatever you want it to be. Is that clear on how to change those?
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, for finish ends, can I put a parameter there that doesn't do the notch on the finish ends?
You can make a panel. Technically, every single closet panel is a finished end. So you can make, if you want, a panel, call it wall mount panel, finished. Excuse me, my apologies. And then just go to your your closets category, and on that product, turn off the notch. Say no.
Oh,
and then you
okay.
can save that to your library. So.
Okay. That's fine. Then I can do it.
Yeah,
I can do a separate for each cabinet then.
Technically, actually, the way a closet is, it's always really exposed, so they're always finished end part types. So.
Yeah. Okay. That covers. Oh, and then last question, if I have a time. I have material wise for 5/8 melamine. All my base cabinets, they are 24 inches, which I can use. We'll use the material because material is actually 49 by 97.
Okay.
Now I have a plywood, which is 48 and a half by 96 and a half. And then I make my cabinets at 23 3/4 deep.
Okay. Yeah.
How can I set up like to be always like this? Do I have to make a cabinet
No, like you're making that conscious decision. Like there's going to be no feature that'll change the size of your cabinets based on material.
Okay. So
You
then
have to make sure that if you know you're doing plywood, you have to make them shallower, you know.
I have to change every cabinet. I have to change every cabinet, or can I change it on the parameters?
Well, before you draw a job, of course,
Yeah.
go to the room tab and go to depth. But
Oh.
once you have it already drawn, you'd have to change them all.
Okay. All right. So that's.
So if you're starting a job and you know, just like a closet, these are probably all pulling in too deep because, you know, or they're pulling in not deep enough. It
So I
uses
can
these
change it here
values.
before I draw everything. Okay. That's all what I need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else before we go?
Okay, I think that covers everything.
Perfect. At the end of every training, we send a backup into the help desk.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
And the recording will be available for downloading, right?
Your training coordinator will send that to you. So it takes about a day. Probably by tomorrow you'll get it.
Yeah, I know. Then I can download them and save it.
Of course. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Okie dokie.
Okay, just give me 1 second. All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to let you go. You have a good rest of the day, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike.